Well, good Sunday morning. Now, we've got a lot of weather to talk about today, so good morning if you're watching on Facebook and YouTube and so forth. Okay, so we got a lot of weather that's going to be happening. Number one, scattered snow showers are going to be moving in today. In fact, they already are in parts of southwest Virginia. Unfortunately, we got to talk about falling temperatures. And at some point here, we're going to start experiencing some real frigid air and Arctic chill that will be moving in Monday and continuing through Tuesday and even Wednesday. Wind chills at times below zero are in the forecast. Let's talk about the snow first of all. We do have winter weather advisories in place here in the counties that are shaded in the blue. So these are generally areas where we'll be experiencing snow totals. Let's start with Southwest Virginia. In general, in Southwest Virginia, we're thinking between 1 and 4 inches, and that also includes several locations there in the warnings as well. Higher elevation areas in all of these counties, like Wise County, Washington County, Russell, have the potential to see maybe 5 inches plus of snow, the highest elevations, mainly above 3,000 feet and especially above 3,500 feet. But otherwise, generally, we're thinking 1 to 4 inches for Southwest Virginia, generally in this bubble. Lower elevation areas would obviously be closer to that 1 inch, maybe 1 to 2 inch mark. Northeast Tennessee, for Tri-Cities especially, anywhere between a dusting to maybe upwards of 1.5 inches. That's kind of what we're thinking right now. Bristol, Virginia, you would be on the higher end of that total, leaning towards the 1.5 inch mark. Bristol, Tennessee, as you get closer down towards the Speedway, usually not experiencing quite as much accumulation. That's typical. That's kind of what we're thinking and highlighting today. The winter storm warnings, they extend down from Johnson County, Southeast Carter, Unicoi, and Southeast Greene counties. These are areas where we could see some significant snowfall. The potential is there for up to 5 inches in some of these high elevation areas, not maybe county-wide, but certainly the potential is there for some of the highest elevations. And not only that, some of the highest elevations of Unicoi back at the Sam's Gap and parts of Carter County, Roan Mountain, the potential is there, 5 inches plus of snowfall. So this will be significant. Some slick roads are likely in the advisory areas. The warning areas, travel impacts, definitely likely. Be on alert for that, for some slick road conditions and bridges, overpasses. By the way, temperatures will be falling through today into the 20s. Wind chills at times in the teens and 20s this evening. We're in the 30s right now, but anything that's wet, those wet roadways, are just going to freeze over as we go into the evening, and sidewalks, so forth. Just be on alert for that, for some slick conditions. We also have cold weather advisories in the light blue. That's just meaning wind chills at or slightly below zero. In fact, the wind chill forecast for tomorrow in the Tri-Cities is around -1. Could go even a little colder. The National Weather Service is highlighted in this light blue zone. The potential is there for wind chills as low as -5 to -10. In the extreme cold warning in the darker blue, wind chills well below zero, so we're thinking between perhaps as cold as -15 to -20 as far as wind chills for tomorrow. Just incredible. So please be safe with this. This is a super cold air mass. And to be honest, a dangerous cold air mass. When we start getting those winds, you remember December 2022, how bad that was? It was so cold. I mean, even inside the building, I could almost feel it. We had that wind blowing and the wind chills well below zero outside. It's a really cold air mass that's going to be moving in. So through this evening and continuing into Monday, expect changing road conditions, especially in the high terrain. Those wet roadways, sidewalks, bridges, overpasses will turn icy, especially the bridges and overpasses first, as you already know. Temperatures will be below 32 degrees starting this evening. And it looks like in the Tri-Cities, we're expecting it to last maybe 90, perhaps 100 hours below freezing, and in the mountains as long as 6 days. So really just incredible how long we're going to be below freezing. This is going to be a really long duration cold spell. That frigid air is moving in Monday, and also for Tuesday it continues. So just be on alert for that. Wind chills well below zero. Here's the look at the planner for today. Temperatures in the 30s, falling through the 30s, eventually the 20s. Those wind chills, since it will be breezy this evening with winds gusting up to 35 in the valleys, expect those wind chills to be dipping down into the teens this evening. Your higher snow chances for some periods of snow will be midday, tapering off to more scattered activity this evening. So here's a look at the higher snow chance rates. You kind of see the best chance of some steady snows there from really close to the noontime hour into 1 o'clock. So midday, expecting those heavier chances of snow in the Tri-Cities for tonight. Bitter cold, 9 degrees, y'all. Very, very cold. Valley flurries continue. Some mountain snow showers also in the forecast. Be on alert for icy conditions. We had some rain last night. We still have some sprinkles even right now in the Tri-Cities, so that's playing a factor. Just expect it to freeze over for tonight. Here's tomorrow's forecast. May start out with some flurries, and what's funny with this, sometimes you may see some sunshine, but this is such a cold air mass. Any precipitation that falls from the clouds, even if it's partly cloudy, sometimes we've even seen some flurries even with it partly cloudy outside. So it's such a bitter cold air mass. Highs will generally be in the upper teens tomorrow to maybe around 20. Hopefully, if we're lucky, we'll get up around 20 degrees for tomorrow. Whew, yeah, y'all. This cold air isn't playing around. Northwest winds 5 to 15 for tomorrow. So that's bringing in that colder Arctic chill, that polar vortex dipping way down. Severe threat tracker is high the next 3 days. So today, Monday, and Tuesday remaining high for periods of snow today, falling temperatures, but frigid conditions tomorrow, remaining breezy, sub-zero wind chills. Frigid on Tuesday as well, with a few flurries. Now, there's going to be a significant snowstorm developing for Tuesday to the south of us. So we're thinking a few flurries for us. But this air mass is so cold. I know some people have highlighted and mentioned, well, hey, it's January, expect the cold weather. And that is true. That is true. But right now, we're also still sitting at the top 10 coldest to date, January, on record in the Tri-Cities, with our records going back to the 1930s. So it is significantly cold. It is like winter's almost like an old-timey winter, so to speak. You remember maybe some of those winters, maybe back several years ago, too, when we had a lot more snow. Lakes would freeze over, riverways would freeze over. I mean, we're close to that point now. I talked to a friend of mine upstairs who works in production. He mentioned that he's seen a photo of parts of Still Creek that is now starting to freeze. And believe me, when we start to get more of this cold air in from Monday through Tuesday, Wednesday, it's going to be cold enough. Yeah, I won't be surprised to see more freezing. Absolutely with that. Those bitter cold wind chills continue. Not to get on too much of a rabbit trail. But anyway, let's talk about what we're seeing right now. So the time is about 8:26. We're seeing some snow, some areas of snow to moderate snow now developing parts of Lee County. Also parts of Wise County now seeing some of that snow as well. We're seeing some light flurry activity in northern parts of Buchanan County. Notice to the west, Hancock County, not technically in our DMA, but there it is. Still seeing a little bit of a snow cutoff line to some rain to the eastern part of that county. Hawkins County, there mainly rain at the moment. We've seen a few sprinkles in the Tri-Cities as well, as we're still holding on to temperatures. It says 37 degrees here on the top of the studio. It's about 10 feet or so off the top of the roof of the building. Anyway, so temperatures in the 30s for the most part. Here you see southwest Virginia. There's also some rain mixing with snow in parts of Wythe County. That's kind of outside the area, but also you see some rain mixing in there in Greene County. We will see the complete transition over to snow showers as we progress through the morning, and especially through midday in the Tri-Cities when we'll see that better chance of some snow. So I've highlighted the temperatures and future radar. Here's the temperatures. In the meantime, we're in the 30s. Now, when we start to get some of these higher snow rates, we'll see some evaporative cooling take place. You're going to see temperatures kind of come down a little bit more into the 30s, maybe the lower 30s. So it's hovering somewhere around that 33, 34 degree ballpark for the Tri-Cities by 10 o'clock. Notice temperatures already in the 20s by 10 o'clock there from Buchanan, Wise, Dickinson counties there, Russell County for Lebanon. Look at Norton right there, 10 o'clock, 26 degrees. That's it. The Tri-Cities will see those periods of snow developing this afternoon, mid-afternoon. And also, feel free. We're going to cover the snow map, but feel free to put in the comments what you're seeing, where you're at, and if you want to know maybe a more exact number of snow accumulation for your location, just put it in the chat there. I'll try to cover some of those. But in general, we'll give you a good ballpark number here to look at. Scattered snow through the evening. Tapers off the flurries tonight for the Tri-Cities. Scattered snow showers in the mountains. Look at these now, those numbers right there. I know I've kind of highlighted the snow more so. Those are air temperatures, actual air temperatures. 7 o'clock tomorrow morning, single digits. Look at Norton, close to 0 tomorrow morning, actual air temperature at 7 o'clock. It's an incredibly cold air mass. Let's go through time. This is through Monday evening. The scattered flurries for the morning tapers off to some sunshine for the evening, especially late. Then we increase those clouds. Back to the forecast for Tuesday. Some more scattered flurries increasing for the evening. But one thing you may not really notice as much as down to the south, is basically there's a pretty good snow system developing from Alabama, Mississippi, Georgia, South Carolina, places that are usually, especially twice in the season. I could even mention Atlanta in the 2 to 4 inch ballpark for snow for this Tuesday system. What's interesting with that is they rarely see, even sometimes it's 5 or 6 years before they even see one system bring some snow like they already have. But 2 systems almost back to back within a week, just incredible. Just incredible. This is forecasting snow all the way down to the panhandle of Florida. Extreme northwestern Florida could see 2 to 4 inches. Is how extreme of an air mass that this is. Anyway, here's a look at snow totals for today. This is what we're expecting. We'll detail it out and kind of highlight some spots here. Tri-Cities. I know if you're wanting the snow, okay, we're obviously going to be on the lesser end of these totals. It's kind of typical. Yesterday, the National Weather Service was highlighting Kingsport as a lighter spot. Also typical. Lower elevation as well there in Kingsport. Anyway, so we're thinking somewhere between 1/2 inch to 1.5 inches. That's the general ballpark for the Tri-Cities today. The most accurate, up-to-date information here. Looking at generally 1 to 4 for most of Southwest Virginia. You see some of those lighter totals there for the valleys like Abingdon, stretching up to Marion. Scott County, for the most part, Gate City are in the lighter end of those totals. But notice that bubble there, the blues, kind of highlighting the higher elevations of Scott County, north and northwest of Gate City. Russell County, Lebanon, north and east, higher totals. So what you're seeing there is a bubble where there is going to be more accumulation. We talked about the warning areas and the advisory areas. I think the potential is there for some higher end totals, like you see there, Buchanan County, Dickinson County, Wise County. Some of those darker shades of blue indicate potentially 4 to 6 inches. Could be even a little bit more than that. So that's why we're thinking generally in Southwest Virginia 1 to 4, but there is some bubbles there where there could be some higher totals. So feel free, of course, to send them to wcyb.com, chime in if you have some photos you want to take of that. Just be careful with some slick conditions developing. In the Tri-Cities, like I said, we're thinking more in the 1/2 inch to 1.5 inch ballpark. Bristol, Virginia would be leaning towards the higher end of that total. You get down towards the Speedway where the elevation is 1,500 feet, you're probably going to be on the lighter end of this Tri-Cities total, just to be honest with you. Johnson City, somewhere around 1 inch, somewhere in that ballpark. But things really rapidly increase. You drive south on I-26, as you already know, get into Unicoi County, you're going to start increasing those totals, and you're going to be back into that warning zone where you're going to have higher snowfall impacts and amounts. Anyway, put in the chat if you want maybe something a little more specific for your county. Also, Ewing, Pennington Gap there, also generally in the 1 to 4 inch bubble. Didn't want to leave y'all folks out. Dickinson County as well. Looks like it could be on a little bit higher in total there, 2 to 4 inches is kind of the general thinking right now. Temperatures, 39 degrees today. That's already happened. We're dropping already. The temperature says it's already 37 degrees on the roof of our building here at WCYB. Temperatures tomorrow, upper teens to around 20, wind chills below 0. It's a guarantee. It's going to be terrible cold tomorrow. Staying cold Tuesday, maybe not quite as breezy, but still bitter cold Tuesday. Highs come up a little bit by Wednesday, closer to 30. We'll eventually be above freezing by Thursday in the Tri-Cities. Here's a look at that extended forecast. There is light at the end of the tunnel if you're wanting a little bit warmer air. So I know we highlighted this yesterday. One of the things about this system is those wind chills are going to be bitter cold. But another thing, you get some fresh snowpack on the ground. That impacts these temperatures. We forecasted some low temperatures in the single digits. Keep in mind, you get some fresh snowpack on the ground when these winds turn calmer. For Tuesday night into Wednesday, turns calm, clear skies, and radiational cooling takes place with light winds. You got that snowpack on the ground. There's nothing really keeping the atmosphere from losing heat straight out into space. So I could easily see these temperatures in some spots dipping below zero actual air temperatures for Tuesday night into Wednesday. So just a heads up. Don't be surprised. Maybe your thermometer outside, maybe you have one of those digital ones that it might read a little colder than 5. Just going to be honest with you. Okay, so anyway, temperatures today are falling in the 20 upper teens to around 20 tomorrow. Back to the 20s Tuesday. Chance of flurries. Frigid conditions continue. Frigid Wednesday. Also, like I said, I'm not sure if you really see it so much in the forecast here, so highlighting, we will see some sunshine tomorrow evening. Tuesday, that chance of flurries. Wednesday, more sunshine, temperatures around 29, a little bit of an improvement. A slow, steady climb in terms of lows after these single digits, back to the low teens for Wednesday night into Thursday. Highs Thursday will finally be above freezing in the Tri-Cities, and staying close to that on Friday. Another weak Clipper system impacts us with some flurries. Looks like next weekend, setting the stage for some 40s. And may I add, the ensembles and blends are leaning towards some longer-term temperatures in the 40s and the 50s beyond this period of time. Tuesday, my apologies, the camera's covering it, but the temperature for next Tuesday, for the following Tuesday, looks to be 48. That's about 10 days away, so that will be a nice improvement. And longer-term data is also suggesting that. So what's going to happen? I know officially La Nina didn't kick in until like about a week and a half ago or so. It takes a little bit of time for that to start impacting these big bubbles of air that will impact us. So hold on there. It will eventually start to help a little bit. Typically, we see slightly warmer than average, slightly drier than normal conditions with La Nina, but it's going to take some time. It has really delayed taking place this winter, to be honest with you. And the other two things, the Arctic and the North Atlantic, are going to be shifting to the positive phase, just meaning that longer term, we expect some milder temperatures to move back in. You see that here in the 10-day forecast. Just all of that to say, it won't stay like this forever, but it's going to be really bad this week, so make sure you bundle up and be careful driving on the roads. Also this morning, I didn't even mention on this Facebook stream, it's kind of foggy out there right now. We have low visibility. It's been around 2 miles or so the past hour at the Tri-Cities Airport, so be on alert for that. Use low beams. And also be on alert for some slick spots, especially in the high elevations this evening. And y'all be safe, and we'll talk to y'all a little bit later. Just stay warm. Here comes the cold.